Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. So today we're going to be doing the love predictions reading for March. I've already done the general predictions reading for March, which obviously goes very well with this reading. So if you haven't seen that already, I will be linking that in the description box and probably also in the comment that I post in the comments section below as well. So make sure you watch the two of them to get a full overview of what's coming in for you in March. So I was guided to put these lovely wild unknown animal spirit cards on the piles today. I don't usually use those on the piles, but I was drawn to pull those today, and we've got some interesting, very different cards. So I want to say a big thank you before we look at the piles in more detail to all of my lovely subscribers and to all of my lovely patrons as well, including Alexandra, Kelly, Joan, Nicole, Mia and Cara. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for your kindness and the love and generosity that you show to this channel. Now there are going to be some changes coming to Patreon soon. So I'm going to be updating the tiers, including the rewards that are offered in them and the pricing as well, to reflect the amount of time and energy that I put into that page. And also I'm going to be including a new astrology tier. So for those of you that are interested in learning about astrology or would like to expand your knowledge of astrology and join a community that has some discussion on astrology, then look out for that, because I'll be implementing those changes, I think, as we move into the end of February and the start of March. So definitely head over there if you're interested. I will be looking also focusing more closely on the birth charts of patrons who share that information with me. So what I'll do is I'll post a few detailed posts every month about a certain astrological topic, and then we will look more closely at the birth charts of patrons to expand upon those posts and to see what we can learn from them. So if you're interested, definitely head over to Patreon. The link is below in the description box and also in my comment in the comments section, and I'd love to see you over there. So group one, let's look at this pile first. So group one, we've got the Black Egg. And we've also got the Fey Tarot, so you can ask yourself what's coming towards me in love in March, or what can I expect from my love life in March? What messages do I need to hear about my love life in March? Something like that, however you choose to phrase it. On pile two, we've got Cheetah and the Circle of Life Tarot. Very different vibe. And then on pile three, we've got Buffalo and the Starspinner Tarot, so a very different vibe again. All very different from each other. And so those are your piles. And then with the monthly love predictions, what we do is we don't just choose a pile, we also choose a gnome. So the gnome will give you some extra cards and also your channeled messages as well, and the pile sort of gives you your main reading. So if you don't feel able to pick more than one thing at once, that's fine. Just pick your pile, watch that, and then come back and choose your gnome. But if you do, then we'll look more closely at the gnomes now. So Gnome A is Gismund. Gnome B is Gunvald. And it's fine to choose more than one gnome or more than one pile if you're drawn to more than one. Just take the messages that resonate for you and leave the ones that don't. Gnome C is Geir. And Gnome D is Gjord. So take your time, use your intuition, don't choose just your favourite gnome or your favourite deck or your favourite card. Choose where you're feeling pulled intuitively, because that will give you the most accurate reading, and at the end of the day that's what we're here to do. Yep, choose based on that, take your time, and when you're ready I will be getting started with pile number one, which is the Fey Tarot and Black Egg. Hi there group one, welcome to your reading. If you chose Black Egg and the Fey Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So I think actually we'll take a look at Black Egg in the guidebook before we start your reading, because I always use the pile marker cards as basically a little bit of insight, a little bit of extra insight into the reading. So Black Egg is all about speaking authentically, telling the truth, basically. Speaking out, and this can be connected to activities like writing, speaking, singing, teaching, reading, etc. It's all about communication and the truth. So Black Egg, I was excited to see it at the start of the pile markers, because it's one of these special cards in the deck, there are 7 cards that have this ring at the top, this shiny ring, and that means that they're a special card. And so the black egg is connected to the throat chakra, because each of the special cards has a connection to one of the chakras, and the black egg is the throat chakra. So communication and truth and living authentically are obviously key to your experience of love in March. That's obviously a big theme. See what your tarot has to say. Okay, so we've got the Page of Pentacles. We have the 7 of Cups. And the Empress. Okay, interesting vibe. I really like the artwork on these cards. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn is showing up for you here, especially Taurus. That's coming through twice. And there's sort of a message here of you gradually moving towards making the right decision for you. So the 7 of Cups in the center of your reading shows that there's this indecisiveness, there's this feeling of I'm not really sure which direction to go in, I'm not sure what I want from my future, I have multiple options and I don't really have much insight into which ones would be the most beneficial for me. And so the Knave of Pentacles and the Empress are kind of saying slow forward movement will show you the right goal for you, the right option for you, and that will help you to flourish. So that's the overall energy. Tarot always acts as a portal for me into the reading, and then the oracle cards give us some much more specific information. So let's start out with a Romance Angel. Group 1. Separation. Time apart from your partner is on the horizon. Okay, so group 1, either you're not in a relationship or you are in a low contact, no contact situation, or you're in a long distance relationship. Some of you might just be considering breaking up with your partner or asking for a break. It's possible that that's where the 7 of Cups kind of difficult decision making comes in. If you're dating, then that's talking about having a lot of options but not really sure which one is maybe right for you. We've got this card from the Lover's Oracle, which says Secret Admirer. Someone has deeper feelings for you than they are letting on. And if you're in a relationship, then that's a message of your partner may not be communicating love or may not be showing you love in the way that you want love to be shown to you, but that love is there. For whatever reason, they're just not showing it, or not showing it in the way that you want them to show it. We all have different love languages. Okay, nothing more from that deck. I thought we might get another card maybe from that one, but it looks like there's no other messages from that one. So let's move on to this one. Okay, act as if your partner is here. Number 37, whether you have someone in your life or not, act as if they are with you so that you will always consider them. Now that's a very interesting message for those of you who are either dating, therefore not really in a relationship or don't have a particular person in mind, or for those of you that are in long distance connections and finding that really difficult, really struggling with the separation. We've also got number 9, slow down, pause and allow things to unfold. And look how this sort of labyrinth is emerging from her hair and therefore from her mind. It feels like the thoughts have been spiraling or will be spiraling in March for you, and the important advice that the cards have in this situation is slow down. For example, you know, you might have been feeling dissatisfaction with a partner. You may feel like they're not showing you enough love, or they're not paying you enough attention, and so you want to end the relationship, or you want to ask for a break. And you know, you're always completely fine in ending a relationship for whatever reason. You don't have to justify that or have a particular reason. Just as long as you're not feeling it, that's reason enough. But it feels like the cards are saying just give it some time, because actually in this situation, talking or being honest about your feelings would really help and serve you better in the long run than that knee-jerk reaction of, I want to split up, you're upsetting me, or you're not appreciating me enough. For those of you who are in long distance relationships, it's kind of saying just slow down and breathe, let your thoughts settle if you're struggling with that separation and feeling like you're spiraling. Also with the act as if your partner is here, for those of you who are in a long distance situation, this could mean things like actively including your partner in your day. So obviously you can't be on call all the time or be messaging your entire time because you've got other things to do, but doing little things like sending, I saw this and thought of you, or not even saying that, but just sending something that makes you think of them and that is funny, or that they might be interested in, that you've seen throughout your day, and sending it to them can really sort of integrate your life as though the two of you are really physically there with each other. Okay, then we have intimiteit, number 34, intimacy. This seems to be a real issue, that you're not feeling the intimacy, whether you're in a relationship or not, whether your partner is physically around you or not. There is an issue with the closeness and the intimacy. We have Wahrheit, wow. Number 8, truth, that word truth coming in again. And then loslassen, number 6, letting go. Wow. Okay, so all of that fits so well with what you've been told already. These seem to be the strong themes. The issue of intimacy and closeness, sort of getting you down or feeling like there's a lack of it regardless of your situation. The truth, the need to express those feelings clearly, even if it's just, you're single, it's upsetting you, and you need to acknowledge that to yourself and be open with yourself about it, rather than pushing it down and not acknowledging those feelings or giving them space to be expressed and heard. And the loslassen, letting go, we could read that either way. Some of you really may have reached the end of your rope and be thinking, I need to break up this relationship because it's dragging me into the ground. And if that's the case, as I said, you're completely justified in doing that, because you never have to wait until you feel like you've got a good enough reason to leave, because the fact that you don't want to be in the relationship anymore is reason enough in itself. But I think for a lot of you, it's more about letting go of the worries, letting go of that tension, because as I've been doing this reading, I felt a real tightness in my chest and like a dryness in my throat and mouth. So there's this tension here of like, it's sort of eating me up inside. I'm holding my chest tightly as I go through my day, like I'm clenching those muscles. And that's an issue when you're doing that, even when you're doing it subconsciously, which most of you will be, because when you're tensing the muscles in the front of your body, like your tummy, your sort of front thighs, your chest, etc., your jaw, that's communicating to your body that you're in danger, because that's a fear response. When we feel like we're going to be attacked physically or verbally, we will subconsciously clench the front muscles in our body so that if we're attacked front on, there's less of an impact to be had. So when you're doing that through tension, through stress, through anxiety, whatever it is, through worry, you are sending panic signals to your brain. And you, as I said, you might not even realize you're doing it, but if you just consciously untense things like your jaw now, your front of your body, just breathe out and untense them, you will notice which areas have been tensed. And if it's in the front of your body, then that's exacerbating your feeling of worry, because you're doing the tensing because you're worried, which is then sending panic signals to your brain, which is making you more worried. So it's a vicious cycle. So we've got number 100, Wunder, the last card in the deck, Wunder, beautiful card. And then we've got number 66, Freundschaft, friendship. Okay, so Wunder obviously speaks of miracles, it speaks of wonder, awe, amazement. There are some real beautiful things to be experienced by you in March. There's some things that you can really reach out and be like, that's amazing. Like, I'm so pleased that that happened. There's some beautiful things that are going to happen. And the friendship card, this to me says either reaching out to friends because you feel lonely, whether you have a partner or not, and, you know, confiding how you feel. Doesn't mean you have to badmouth your partner if you have one, you know, it's just being clear about how you feel and that you are feeling maybe unsupported, or that you are frustrated with circumstances, and that's causing you to feel the way that you are. Or it's saying cultivate this sense of friendship with your partner, because, you know, as I mentioned, this act as if your partner is here, doing those things that build up on the relationship on more than just the romantic level, cultivating the sense of friendship between the two of you. We have szczęście. That's really nice. Happiness. Szczęście can also mean good luck. Russian is like German in that the word for happiness is also the same as the word for luck. So that definitely fits with the Wunder message about something beautiful, something miraculous that can really come out of March. And obviously I like how it's a couple that's being represented there, because that fits well with our love message. Finding happiness in one another. We have Merry Masquerade, glamour, intrigue, drama, number 14. Yeah, this whole issue that can arise when you are physically or mentally distant from your partner is this issue of intrigue, gossip, drama, suspicion, your mind kind of running away with you, or other people getting involved in a situation because you feel pushed out. All of this is stuff to avoid, trying to avoid rumors, gossip, etc. That's why I felt like I consciously had to say, talking about how you feel without bad-mouthing your partner, if you do have a partner, because I don't know why that came out specifically, but there's obviously something here about speaking your truth without necessarily sort of turning friends against your partner, because that can happen sometimes if you go through a rough patch in a relationship and then you confide to your friends. Obviously that's completely normal, that's your right to do that, and you sort of say lots of bad things that your partner's done. That's not to mean that you shouldn't tell them things that have happened, but if you just go on and on about the negatives that your partner's done, and then you choose to stay with that partner because you work things out, what can happen is that the friends sort of pull away from you because they feel like, well, I don't want to associate myself with that partner who's upset my friend before. It can cause real issues in your relationship with your friends, or the relationship between your friends and your partner. So just be aware of what you are saying. Communicate your truth authentically without sort of muddying the waters, if that makes sense. We have Netcaster, number 42, preparations come to fruition. So some sort of achievement in March. So this could be that you do get into a relationship, or you start dating someone if you are not currently in a relationship. And that's your kind of preparation coming to fruition, or your dream, in a sense, coming true, your goal coming about. For those of you who are in relationships, it can be resolving a problem. It can be spending more time together. It can be, if you're, for example, in a long distance relationship, having a physical visit. So who is coming towards you in love in March? We've got two cards, a regular card and a shadow card. So the shadow card is private, risk taker, easily bored, difficult to know. And the regular card is traditional, realistic, committed, hard-working. Possible interests for this person are building and repairing, credit analysis, gardening, volunteering, dentistry, community service, and general contractor. So that could be their interest in terms of their work, or their interests in terms of their private life, their, hobbies. And what I usually find with those cards is that one or two of the adjectives from each card will fit, and the others maybe not so much, and one or two of the possible interests will really fit that person, and then the other ones not so much. So just take what's really jumping out at you from those cards. We have Master Buddha, increased awareness, deep connection, trust your inner voice. Oh my goodness. I really felt called to use this deck for this reading. I haven't used it for quite some time now, and for some reason it was just really sort of screaming out to me when I was picking the cards for today's reading. So there's obviously going to be a lot of wisdom coming through from it. That's really nice. Trust your inner voice. So throat chakra energy, very important for you in March. Your healing message in love is minimize guilt, number 22. And we've just had the 222 portal gate on the 22nd of February. So there's that 22 coming in. Minimize guilt. This could be guilt for example, suspecting your partner of something, or if you have bad-mouthed your partner in the past, you know, guilt about that. If you're single, it could be that you feel guilty for being envious of friends who are in relationships, so you feel guilty for just feeling bad about being single, you know, feeling guilty for the feelings themselves. You could feel guilty that you've been thinking about breaking up a partnership. You know, it's just saying minimize that guilt, because focusing on the guilt is not helpful to you right now. Then we have the Hedge Witch. Number 3, the Hedge Witch is all about what's going on within. Let me just read the introduction to the Hedge Witch. The Hedge Witch reminds you that you can break free of entanglement in others' problems. As the age of a hedge can be told by what grows within, an old problem can be severed at the root. A person or a group may respond well to your proposals. Regardless of minor hurdles, victory will be yours. So that seems to fit well with the Netcaster card, about you being able to bring something to fruition, bring something into existence. Seek for answers. Wow. That fits well for those of you who have heard rumors or gossip, or who feel like your partner is avoiding an issue. Niezabudica, that's a perfect card for you. The 12 of arrows, this little bird in the maze. So there's that labyrinth imagery coming through again. Niezabudica basically means don't get lost. Don't get lost in all of the thinking, in all of the he said, she said, in the guilt. You know, just focus on the truth of the situation. The truth is usually quite simple. Then we've got Jawbreaker, patience, slow pace, taking time. So that connects both the message about slowing down and the message about talking. The throat chakra, Jawbreaker. You could feel like you've got so much to say that it's literally starting to hurt to hold it all in. You know, the Jawbreakers, these like huge gobstoppers, really hard to suck on them. It's kind of like you've been turning this situation over and over in your mind for so long. You've been wanting to say something, to tell someone, to just let your feelings out. And I definitely see that needing to happen in March. So your advice card in March in love is last quarter moon in Leo, lighten up. So that's a Leo message coming through now as well, to fit with our Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn message. So lighten up, you know, to me just means sort of look for the positives, and again, release the tension that you're feeling, release the worries, the muscle tension, etc., and focus on the positives and what you really want to do in this situation. So let's get your charms and dice on top now, group 1, and then we can move on to your gnome, if you've already picked your gnome, for your extra messages. So we'll do your charms first. Okay. So we've got a guardian angel, and we've also got the angel wing. So there's a lot of angelic energy around you, sort of being a part of your love life in March. There's a lot of help from the angels. You also have Lord Ganesha over here, the Hindu god of healing, wisdom, and the god who removes obstacles from our path. So there's really this repeated message of being able to sort something out, to solve a problem without taking drastic knee-jerk action. And you've also got the bottle opener, and it says Coca-Cola on it. It always makes me think of lifting the lid, like actually lifting the lid on what's going on inside. Like you can see in the hedge, there's all these different creatures. You know, we've talked about the truth being simple, and we've talked about the sort of complicated labyrinth and all of this. So I really feel like there is an opportunity or the need in March to talk about your feelings with someone, whether it is your partner, whether it's a friend, or whether it's just sitting down by yourself and really going through how you're feeling. I think that's really, really important. We've got the gingerbread man, which is about something taking a while to complete, just like the biscuit takes a while in the oven to bake, and then you've still got to leave it to cool before you can touch it. We've got the planet, which to me is a symbol of giving someone space, or you needing space to just breathe and sort through your feelings. We have the hare. The hare symbolizes springtime and fertility. Obviously, we will be moving into springtime with March if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, but it can also be a symbolic springtime where that opportunity starts to appear for you. It's also telling you to be yourself unapologetically. We have this phrase in the UK, mad as a March hare, which sort of just means being a little bit eccentric. And so I always think of that when I see that charm. We've also got taking risks, gambling, this little Alice in Wonderland charm. Doing something that you maybe wouldn't normally do. It feels like you've been playing it safe by keeping quiet for a long time, and you just really now need to step out of your comfort zone a little bit by actually talking about how you're feeling. Then we've got the cookies, little biscuit tin, treating yourself, indulging, looking after yourself. We've also got the narwhal, a breakthrough. Breaking through from one situation to the other side of it, just like the narwhal breaks through the ice with its incredible horn. And then we have property of Davy Jones. Don't know if you can read that, it's quite small writing. And that's the reverse of the treasure map charm. So property of Davy Jones, when I see it come up on that side, kind of says to me that you feel like you owe someone something. It comes up with ownership or possessiveness, or feeling like either you're owed something, like an explanation, for example, or you owe someone else something. So just fit that in with your situation, however that makes sense to you. But let's move on now to your dice. Okay, so we're going to roll the 6th set of dice for you. Those are the Voyager's dice. Okay. Oh, there's actually an egg on one of the dice when I've opened the box. Interesting. Fits very well with the springtime symbolism of the hare as well. The egg, potential, fertility, new beginnings. Okay, that's just a 1, so I'm going to roll again, see if I can get any more dice for you. Okay, we're rolling 6 dice for you today. Okay, we've got the germ. Germ to me signifies problems, not like massive tower card all-encompassing problems, but just like little things that irritate you, basically. So the germ is kind of saying you can wipe them away, you can clean them, but at the moment they are there, so they need to be acknowledged, these little problems or issues or niggles. We've got the rain cloud, so that again sort of symbolizes feeling blue, feeling a little bit sad when we feel like we have that rain cloud over us, that burden that is weighing down upon us. We've got nostalgia and memory making. with the camera, you might find yourself looking back at times when you felt happier and kind of thinking, well, how has it got to this? And the answer is that you really need to do that reflection and introspection, but you really need to acknowledge it and talk about it so that you can move forward. We have the snake. This is a zodiac dice. It's a signifier for people born in the Chinese year of the snake, so that could be you or your partner, but it doesn't have to be. The snake can also feel like you've been bitten by someone, like someone's being vicious or kind of self-serving. When I think of the snake, I think of someone who only really has their own interests at heart. So although they might be nice to you for a while and quite placid and sweet, they might suddenly lash out of the blue, and that might shock you. So it's interesting how that's landing on the sort of gossip, rumors, society card. I think it's very important that you don't confide anything in people who might try to stir the situation and create more drama or sow the seeds of doubt in your mind. Only confide in people who you really, really trust. And as I said, do your best not to spread gossip or badmouth your partner if you do have one. Then we've got the Holy Grail. Finding what you've been looking for. It's also makes me think of the Ace of Cups. So new love or renewed love within a partnership, deep feelings as well. And then down here we've got the City of Your Dreams. I always think this looks kind of a cross between ancient and futuristic. So to me it sort of points towards the life that you envisage for yourself, the dream life, the ideal place that you want to get to in life. So there's this real ruminating going on for you in March, where you're really doing a lot of thinking, and you're asking yourself, what do I really want? What does my ideal life look like? How can I get there? What are the steps in between my current situation and that dream life? What must I implement or execute in order to get there? So I really feel like whatever is plaguing you in March or causing you to feel insecure is nothing that you can't overcome. Group 1, there's definitely either someone on your mind, either a partner or someone you're dating, or there's someone on the horizon when it comes to March, and you just need to really deal with your feelings and speak authentically and truthfully as well. So that's your main reading. You can now go and choose your gnome. If you haven't chosen one already, go to the start of the video and pick just like you would a pile. They will give you your extra messages, including some extra cards and your channeled messages as well. It makes the reading more layered. It makes it feel more like a personal reading. If you have already chosen your gnome and you remember which one it was, then you can just jump to the timestamps below to get your gnome messages. And I am now going to move on to pile 2. Hey there, Group 2, welcome to your reading. If you chose the Cheetah and the Circle of Life Tarot, this is going to be your main reading, and then the gnomes will give you your channeled messages and a few extra cards. Basically, that just makes it like a layered reading. It makes it feel more personalized for you. So what we're going to do first is we're going to read the little bit about the Cheetah card, because I always use the pile markers as part of the reading. So Cheetah is a fire element card, and this is all about solar force, action, achievement, and masculine energy. And it says that when in balance, this person achieves anything and they have boundless energy. When out of balance, they are impatient and competitive, and to bring themselves back into balance, they need to reconnect to their purpose. So the Cheetah, it says, is kind of the epitome of solar forces in that sense. So the strong masculine energy, that's interesting. Let's get your tarot. See what your cards have to say. Love life in March. Group 2. Okay, so we've got the Knight of Wands, so that fiery energy coming through again, straight away. 10 of Wands. The Star. And the 2 of Swords. Interesting, and that's an elephant, and the elephant is also a fire energy animal in the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aquarius coming through so far. There's a lot of different things going on. I feel as though there's a lot of passion, obviously starting out your love life in March, and there's a feeling of like a lot happening all at once. Like I just feel like so much is going on. I'm almost a bit stressed by it. Like I'm feeling overwhelmed and feeling a little bit burdened by either the speed of the movement, if we bring this back to the cheetah, or just the intensity of what's going on and the amount of events that are happening in your love life, or events in other areas of your life that are impacting your love life because they're taking your time away or your focus away from it. The star gives us this chance to slow down, reflect, and heal. And then the Two of Swords kind of asks us, which direction now do we want to go in? What's the most important thing for us now? What are we going to choose to focus on? So that's a really interesting opening to your reading. Let's get you a romance angel. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Okay, so possibly you're pulling away from drama, or you're choosing to center yourself rather than people please or appease another. The Ten of Wands does have this inherent message of stop trying to do so much for other people. Focus more on yourself. Do more for yourself. We have this card from the Lover's Oracle, which says balance. Love is not always about agreeing just for the sake of it. A great relationship is one that both supports and challenges. Exactly. That was what I felt with that card. Instead of always doing something for another or always agreeing to someone else's choices and preferences, starting to focus more on you. So balance is a big theme of your reading. I mean, yes, the cheetah needs to sprint because that's in the cheetah's nature, but it also needs lots of time to rest, to build up those energy reserves. And that balance comes through quite strongly with the Two of Swords as well. And obviously with the star. So from this deck, we have got number 29, Die Liebenden, the lovers. That's obviously a nice card to receive. We've also got number 4, Empfangen, receiving or receptivity. Number 45, Angst vor Versagen, fear of failure. And number 82, Festhalten, holding on tightly. Okay. Yes, so this could be, I mean, here we've got a similar image of someone grasping onto someone who's out the door pretty much already, giving them that one last kiss. So there could be separation in terms of travel or work for business, or just undergoing some kind of travel in March. It could be that a relationship that you're in is kind of on the rocks and there's discussion in March of should we break up, should we stay together? And you're determined to hold things together, but you need to understand how to implement that, what changes need to be made. When we get that balance card, there's obviously that inherent message of compromise, of tempering the extreme energies in a relationship, whatever those are, and bringing them to a more moderate middle standpoint. This fear of failure is interesting because when we get these kinds of cards, it often shows up what is the cause or the reason behind certain types of behavior. So fear of failure could cause someone to hold on tightly to another person because, you know, they're afraid of getting back into the dating game and it going badly for them, or they're just afraid of having a failed marriage or a failed relationship. You know, all of these things can cause people to do that. Or for example, if you've got a house with someone and you feel like I need to stay in the relationship because I couldn't afford the house on my own, so then I would have to move on from that, and it would be like I've let that house go and that would be a failure for me. Very, very interestingly, in the next deck, this card has just flown out in the pre-shuffle. Festhalten, number 10, holding on tightly to something, the exact same word, the exact same phrase. So it seems to be coming from a fear of failure or fear of rejection on someone's side. We've got Bestimmung, Number 54, direction. So that brings us back to that Two of Swords. What is this direction that we need to move into? Where is this going? Number 49, Wutanfall. Attack of anger. So anger or frustration kind of boiling over, and that makes sense with the fiery energies that we've received throughout this reading. The Ten of Wands is definitely about frustration. It's about feeling burdened by a situation or really panicked, really stressed out by something. I think it came up in a recent YouTube reading. It might even have been the general March predictions for one of the piles, and I was talking about how the Ten of Wands is sometimes a card that comes through to tell us that the physical symptoms we're experiencing are actually manifestations of stress or worry. So you might be experiencing headaches, difficulty sleeping, nightmares, disturbed sleep, struggling to get into deep sleep, like when you wake up and it feels like you've not been asleep at all, you're so tired. It's because you've not been reaching deep levels of sleep usually. All of that can be caused by stress and worry. Sometimes feeling sick, sometimes changes in appetite, sometimes aches and pains, tension, dry mouth, sort of restlessness. They can all be symptoms of stress and worry. Storm Angel. Number 35, collision of beliefs, styles, attitudes, energies. So yeah, like this, there is this really fiery energy of like two people going head on, colliding with each other. There could be different love languages, or there could be different beliefs, you know, about life, different philosophies, different ideas about marriage or child rearing or something. Could be different political beliefs, religious beliefs, etc. But it just feels like we're going head on because neither person is willing to compromise or take a step back. And this is one of the hardest things, I would say, is when it's a battle of beliefs, because we can all sort of tone down maybe elements of our personality that stress out another person to make life with us easier. But toning down our beliefs is really quite difficult, because if that's a fundamental part of you, your religion or your political affiliation or your sort of philosophical outlook on life, how can you really temper that to suit another person? You can't really, you know. To do that would be sort of to deny who you are on a fundamental level. So if that's the issue, then that's where that message of love yourself first is coming in. Don't fear failure, fear not being true to yourself. Mahavata Babaji, soul expansion. Your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connections between all things. So maybe a greater understanding of synchronicities coming through in this month, just seeing so much interconnected. Stars in the sky, limitless possibility. Number 51, I love that card. Fits very well with the colours of that card as well. And gathering round, the power of community. Number 26. So reaching out to your community, and that could bring us back to that message of beliefs. You know, if toning down your beliefs would mean being alienated from your community, instead finding strength from that community. The stars in the sky card is definitely saying don't limit yourself. Don't hold yourself back in any way. Be willing to express love. Number 6, express love to receive love. That was an issue with group 1. They didn't get that card, but they got some messages about feeling as though their partner was not expressing love to them, whether it meant that the love languages were different, so, you know, one person thought they were expressing love and the other person really didn't feel that way, or whether it was just that they felt that there wasn't enough attention or affection coming from the partner. You're not alone if there are mismatches in terms of expressing connection. Okay, we've got poisk, search. So this search for something, the search maybe for something deeper, for something more meaningful. There could be the search for answers on some level. That could just be a confirmation message for those of you that are not in a relationship, and it's, you know, validating this is your pile, you're searching for someone. That could feel frustrating in this month if you're getting to the end of your tether thinking, why am I not meeting people that are right for me? I'm meeting people that just don't seem to fit my worldview, etc. Your personality oracle card for the person coming towards you in love in March is serious, reliable, organized, conventional. Possible interests for this person include trivial pursuit, maths, social science, sports events, physical fitness, video games, and travel. And the way that those cards work is I usually find that one or two of the adjectives and one or two of the possible interests fit that person really well, and the rest maybe not so much. So just take what jumps out at you from that card. You have the Halloween Witch, number 12. Interesting. Let's look in the guidebook for that one. Halloween Witch. Mysteriously, a new year begins for you on Halloween, the 31st of October. A door opens into another world. You may see or dream of those you love who, although having passed from this world to the next, still want to help you. A potential lover will be thinking of you before being driven to open their heart to you. Patience, spurred on by ambition, makes waiting easy for you. Interesting. Okay, so that frustration can be borne out by patience. Is your message for this month, whether you are in a relationship or not. The frustration with your love life can be borne out and can be endured through having patience. I like the message about loved ones who have passed over as well. That shows that there are helpers out there for you, people who care about you, who want you to be happy. And I also like the message of the new year, because springtime is in many ways a new beginning, and that's where we're heading into in March if you are in the northern hemisphere, whereas if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're pretty much in the point that October is for us in the northern hemisphere, so that fits in both senses. Your healing message in love in March is show self-respect, number 29. So that message is coming through again. Show self-respect. We got it here. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Love yourself, respect yourself. Do not be continuously putting your needs to the side for another person. Continuously negating your preferences for someone else. We have Samaya Bolshaya Dierova, the biggest tree. This is the 6 of circles, but it also kind of looks like 60, if that means anything to you. The biggest tree, not being afraid to take up space. Growth, standing out. Gummy bears, cute, cuddly, animal friends. It's a really sweet card to receive. That's your sweetie for love in March. Fortune and success. Well, that's a great card. Okay, so there are some positive omens. Like I said, I feel like as long as you're prepared to sort of put yourself first and prioritize you and show yourself this self-respect, then I feel like there can be a good outcome here. And if that means moving on from a current partnership, or if it means, you know, sticking it out and having that person respect you for putting your foot down, then so be it. But ultimately, the right outcome for all involved will be reached by you showing self-respect. Now, because we got the masculine message from the cheetah, I really felt like I should draw an inner masculine healing card. And you've received number 10, Dumuzid, presence. So Dumuzid is also known as Temmuz sometimes, which I think is an incorrect transliteration of his name. Dumuzid is a Babylonian or Sumerian, Akkadian god, sort of Mesopotamian deity, and he is connected to the harvest. He is this god who we sometimes encounter in New Age religion, where it's the god who is sort of born in the springtime and then dies at the harvest time. So it ties us in again to this March, autumn message. Being born in the springtime and then dying in the harvest time, only to be sort of reborn again in the spring. And Dumuzid is talking about presence here. So your inner masculine, group 2, is telling you that your power in this situation lies in recognizing your presence and the worth of that. So very much like the self-respect messages we've received, this card is telling you that if someone is not valuing your presence in their life, or if you're in a situation where you feel like your presence and contributions aren't being valued, you know that that situation is not right for you, and you know that it is not only a waste of your time, but also damaging to your self-esteem and to your sense of self to remain in that situation. So that might be a difficult truth to take on board. It might be something that you need some time to acknowledge and come to terms with and sort of chew on it, so to speak. But it's one that you definitely need to acknowledge if that's something that resonates with you, because where we stay in situations and relationships that do not value our presence, we devalue ourselves, and that just gradually picks away or kicks away at your self-esteem until you are left with nothing, when in fact you should be this biggest tree with the limitless possibilities. So your advice card for love in March is last quarter moon in Gemini, clear your mind. Okay, so clearing out all of the sort of frustrations and the worries and the stresses that might be taking over. So let's do your charms and dice now, group 2, for your extra messages. We'll start with your charms. Okay, so again, we've got Sagittarius energy showing up here with this astrology dice. We've got growth. We have space, needing space or needing to give another person space. Healing with the starfish. We have got the downturned horseshoe. So you could be feeling like you're having a run of bad luck. You could be worrying that your luck is sort of running out or is not, you know, giving you very many opportunities. We've got the worry thread there, symbolizing worry and anxiety. This charm jumped out while I was doing the shuffling. This is the dragonfly, which is a fire elemental, and it is also a symbol of good luck. So it's kind of a counterbalance to the bad luck charm. So it could be saying, in fact, you know, you feel like your luck is bad, but it's actually okay, or it's saying that this is a month of kind of ups and downs in terms of luck and the energy that you're experiencing externally to yourself. We've got the little bunny, and the little bunny is symbolic of anyone who is born in the Chinese year of the rabbit, so that can be a zodiac marker for some of you. It's also symbolic of children, if children are a part of this situation, and it's symbolic of mischief and play, so sort of lightening up your energy a little bit. We've got the cat that's got the cream, content, happy kitty. We have Eros or Cupid, the Greco-Roman god of love and lust and passion, showing up for you, so an intensity in your energy there. I would actually be interested in knowing where your Eros sign is in your birth chart as well, because that may be playing a part in this situation. So if you are interested in that, check out your birth chart, see what sign and house Eros is in and what aspects there are to it. And if you want to post that below, then that would be interesting to hear about. We've got the letter P showing up here as well. That could be someone's name, it could be a place or a word. The P doesn't have to be the start of the word, but as long as it's like a significant sound within it, then take that as a message, whatever comes to you intuitively. We've got the fairy sitting on the moon waiting for her dreams to come true, and we've also got the lightning bolt. Sudden realization, epiphanies, can be a bit like the tower moment in some senses, but also clarity that comes with it. So with that little fairy there, it's making me think that you've had a slow realization for a long time, but you've not wanted to do anything about it because it was easier to just not take any action, which is understandable. But it feels like in March there's this brewing understanding of what the issues are, or what their causes are, or what you need to do about this situation in order to be happy. And so you are able to then take some time to think about it and then decide whether or not you want to implement it. But it seems like by the end of March, you've got that understanding, but you've not quite made your decision yet. So I don't think this is something that's resolved in March. It's something that continues afterwards, but it does still give you that relief of knowing that you've had the understanding and the acknowledgement, at least in March. So let's see what your dice have to say now, Group 2. This is a really interesting reading. So we're going to roll the third set of dice for you, the mystery dice. Interesting that we're rolling the mystery dice when you have that search card, like you're seeking an answer. These are the dice we are... there's the wanted poster, or the missing poster, depending on how you want to look at it. That fits in with search, especially for those of you who are looking for a partner. Okay, we're going to roll 8 dice for you. Ooh. Dice are supercharged for your pile. I can't wait to jump out of my hands. Okay, what do we have? Okay, so we've got the blood splatter. That always makes me think of the phrase, it's complicated. So like a complicated situation in love. We've got the need to work out what you want with the calculator there. Working out exactly what it is that you want to do. Masterminding, scheming, planning for your future. So this all fits in with that feeling of a realization and then trying to work out what that means for you. And also the suspicion dice. Like you're trying to... figure out what someone's really about, find answers or find the deeper cause or meaning of a situation. We have the sort of red flag dice, or the something sort of staring you in the face dice. It's not always necessarily a bad thing, but it's something that is just really screaming at you to be acknowledged. So this, as I said, may have been building for quite some time. We've got the person peeping out of the storm drain, this kind of creepy person looking out of the storm drain. That always makes me think of like being watched or feeling very keenly the weight of other people's expectations on you. So for example, like if you're in a friendship group where everyone else is in relationships, you might struggle to break up with a partner because everyone else is in long-term relationships and you would be the odd one out by doing that, and everyone would kind of be looking at you and it would be stressful. Or it could be that, you're the single friend and you feel everyone's expectations or sympathy or pity sort of, piling on top of you, and that feels difficult to deal with. We have the television here, the TV. This is about rest, leisure, relaxation, downtime. Like I mentioned about the cheetah needing to have bursts where it's running, but also needing to have a lot of rest as well. Kind of the higher energy your life is, the more downtime you need, the more complication and difficulty and stress your life has, the more downtime you need. And finally, the lighthouse, the beacon, being guided to a safe place, being guided to the right decisions, or being guided to an outcome that is safe and stable and secure for you. So that is what I'm seeing in the main part of your reading, Group 2. Please do go ahead and jump to your gnome now if you've picked one already, and remember which one it was. You can just use the timestamps below. But if you haven't chosen your gnome, just go back to the start of the video and then you can pick your gnome and get your extra messages, including your channel messages and your extra cards for your layered, more personalized reading. And I'm going to move on now to pile number 3. Hey there, group 3. Welcome to your reading. Everyone who chose Buffalo and the Starspinner Tarot, this is going to be your main reading, and then the gnome that you chose or will choose after this reading is going to give you your channeled messages and your extra cards as well, and that makes the reading kind of layered. It makes it more personalized reading for you. So firstly, let's take a look at the Buffalo card and what this means for the reading. I always like to read the pile marker cards as part of the reading itself. So Buffalo is an earth energy card, grounded yet heavenly, practical yet spiritual. Okay, so when in balance, this person is trusting and has a pure presence. When out of balance, they are restless and they lack gratitude. To bring themselves back into balance, they need to engage in prayer or bhakti. Okay, so there could be an ungroundedness or a restlessness for you in March. Let's get your tarot. Group 3, love life in March. Okay, so we've got the 9 of Pentacles as your first card there. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles, so we're continuing that earth theme. And then we've got the 6 of Wands. Okay, so definitely strong earth energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn showing up here. And there's a sense of like, I don't know, it's sort of like it's dedication and it's taking your time from these cards. It feels like you are fairly content in love in March, and even if you are having difficulties at all, it feels like you're saying to yourself, okay, well, if we just do this and we keep working at it and we try not to get frustrated, then we'll have this positive outcome. And I think that that's quite a good approach to take. There's just this vibe here of wisdom, and like, I'm not going to react unnecessarily to what's happening. I'm not going to react emotionally. I'm just going to try and deal with things in a calm and collected manner, in a rational way. So if there are any problems, that's how you're dealing with them, and you're giving them time to heal or to evolve. You're not sort of forcing things to happen more quickly. And I think that this results in a very positive outcome for you. And that goes for whether you're in a relationship or not. You know, for example, you could be feeling frustration with the fact that you are not in a relationship, and you decide that you're just going to methodically apply yourself to dating, and you're just going to work through your feelings gently. So we have heart-to-heart conversations, honestly discuss your feelings with each other, and that's really nice because that sort of fits again with this message of you saying, okay, you know, there might be problems, but we'll work through them gradually and gently. And as I said, if you're not in a relationship, then that would go for you having these sorts of conversations with yourself, really being open, acknowledging your feelings, being open with spirit or your spiritual team or the universe through prayer, as we mentioned with Buffalo, using that regularly as a touchstone, as a check-in with spirit, so that you can talk about your feelings and do it in that safe space where spirit is listening and your mind is not focused on other things. You're just focused on your situation and on being open and honest. So we have this card coming through from the Lover's Oracle, which says, look inside yourself, examine what is causing you to feel this way. Yeah. I do think that there are some quite strong feelings for you in March, but as I said, you're not allowing that to rule you, or you're not allowing it to, cause you to, as I was saying, react, to be reactionary. You're trying to deal with things very gently. We've also got this card, which says, a message for you. I'm thinking of you this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. So that's a really lovely message to receive as well. So like I said, it's like you know yourself that there is someone out there for you, even if it might not feel that way at first. And so that's how you redirect those worry thoughts, is going, of course, there's someone out there for me. I'm just experiencing a wobble right now due to frustration. Or, of course, this person loves me, or, you know, the benefits outweigh the negatives, or the difficulties we're having right now, I just need to focus on that, etc. Or we're just going through a little bit of a rough patch right now, but we will sort it out. Okay, so then we've got a few cards from this deck. We have got number 48, Schurke, villain. Okay. Then we have got number 47, Verlust, loss. Interesting how they're 48, 47 as well. They're like the same, not the same number, but like they're in the right order, if that makes sense. We have Die Liebenden, number 29, the lovers, and Selbstliebe, self-love, number 1. So some of you might have gone through a bad breakup recently, or, you know, be processing perhaps past difficult experiences in love. Could be the past sort of coming back for you to process it and lay it to rest. I feel like for some of you it's less that though, and it's more like, as I said, maybe you're going through that rough patch with your partner and you're sort of missing what you had, and maybe you're feeling a bit like a villain because you feel like, you know, I could be behaving differently in this scenario, but this is how I deal with things. So you might be thinking like they're a villain, like, you know, they should be considering me more, etc. But deep down, you know, they're not a bad person. It's just a situation. For some of you, there might even be a temporary physical distance from your partner, like one of you goes traveling, or one of you has been visiting you and then goes back to their city, or you visit them and vice versa and go back to where you're from, and so there's that feeling of separation. But there's definitely a good connection here. And, you know, for those of you that are single, I do think that you're either going to connect to the energy of love much more easily in March, or you are going to find someone who you can really spend some lovely time with, that lovely picnic vibe of that card, just spending sweet time with someone. Even if they don't turn out to be the one or the person that you live the rest of your life with or anything like that, just someone that you can spend some nice time with. And then obviously the self-love is super important as well. Especially important if you are feeling like the Schurke, like the villain. You feel like, I shouldn't be reacting this way, or I wish I hadn't done that or said that to them because that was unkind, and I'm now trying to be calmer. Whoa. Okay, cards really flying out of this deck. Probably because I've been shuffling it for a while and they've been like, come on, let me speak. So we've got Fantasievorstellungen. Number 31, fantasies. Okay. We have got number 8, etwas Besonderes sein wollen. Wanting to be something special, but in a negative sense. Number 60, Erlösung, relief. And number 59, Erfolg, success. And look how again we've got those decreasing numbers in the right order. Okay, so fantasies. The fantasies could be connected to wanting to be something special. When we get that card, it means that someone is kind of bigging themselves up and seeing themselves in, you know, a big way, but not necessarily in a positive way. You know, we always tell people to be proud of themselves or to be confident in themselves, but this is more. This is kind of like, I want to be better than other people, or I want to really stand out and be validated as being super, super hot, super attractive, or super intelligent, super rich, whatever it is. You know, have my achievements really lauded by other people. And that's kind of getting in the way of a connection. You know, you might feel like you're dating and people aren't like grasping the wow of you straight away, and that gets you down. Or you might be in a relationship and you feel like your partner doesn't praise you enough or doesn't appreciate you enough, but it's kind of like, in this case, you feel like you're expecting too much. You're sort of like, you know, of course they're not going to be fawning over me all the time because we're in a relationship now and they're used to me. Doesn't mean that they can't be appreciative of me, but it's almost like you expect a big show of something and deep down you feel like that's unreasonable. Relief and success are then two beautiful cards to receive to show that you can resolve this situation, and also that it happens very calmly. As I said, it feels like you're choosing peace and calmness and gentleness and waiting. We have look to your inner strength. Number 11, you are stronger than you realize. So you're stronger than you think you are to get through these difficulties, these tough times, these flashbacks of the past. A clockwork pumpkin, a wonderful idea. The aha moment, number 39, so epiphanies. And, you know, I think this has a lot to do with insight in terms of things like how you relate to each other, your love languages, what you need and expect and look for in love, even if that's a very subconscious thing. You're gaining a much deeper understanding of those things in March. Like when I saw the villain card, I kind of felt like, how do I explain it? Like something like my way of dealing with things is maybe not very positive. Like, for example, you might be someone who goes very quiet when someone's upset you, and it's not because you want to emotionally manipulate them by making them panic and think, oh my god, they're not replying to my messages, what's happening, you know, they're not talking to me properly at home, what can I do to fix the situation? It's just because you don't have anything to say when you're hurt, and you don't want to say something that would be misconstrued or would be overly emotional and then you would regret it later, you know, say something that can't be unsaid because you're acting in anger or upset or pain. But at the same time, you understand how silent treatment or going quiet on someone could be construed as manipulation. So it's like this two sides where you're thinking like, I know from my side that I'm doing it purely because that's how I deal with this kind of situation, and because I don't want to make a situation worse by forcing myself to speak and therefore saying something I don't want to say. But you're also thinking to yourself, but I don't want to come across like a manipulator or like a nasty person. You know, there's these things that you're really thinking about. We have number 55, the farther gate, bold step forward. So there is some kind of big forward leap or sense of progression in this month, whether that's meeting someone, whether it's increased commitment in a relationship, whether it is just a big thing to celebrate with your partner. For example, with the Six of Wands being there, it could be a promotion. It could be some kind of achievement or recognition, happy news, etc. And your partner is sharing in that. Cloak of Wisdom, Katumi. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. Okay, interesting. I feel from that card that there's almost a message of like, I've been asking the universe for an answer or for validation, but deep down I know the answer, or I know what my decision would be. I just kind of wanted external validation from that. Does that make sense? We have the Tortured Witch, number 1. Just check that in the guidebook. I haven't received this card in a reading before. So the Tortured Witch is a soul in torment. She cries for one who professed love but lied, or one she loved who died. At times it appears to her that even heaven fails to bring the comfort she prays for, but she knows that slowly and gradually her life will change for the better. Bad times fade. In time, someone realizes that you are their better half. Two dangerous courses of action may confront you. You may decide to suffer a bad experience rather than risk a worse situation. So yes, this does seem to fit in with this message of loss and the sort of villain message. So some of you really are processing, as I said before, a bad relationship or a very bad breakup, and you, I feel, are kind of worried about slipping into those dynamics again, whether you feel like your partner is exhibiting some of those traits or whether you feel like you've taken on some of them. Like I mentioned about the silent treatment, even though from your perspective it's coming from a very valid place of like, I don't want to, you know, make a situation worse, as we've just said with that card, and therefore risking a bad situation. But it's like almost not knowing what to do for the best in that situation. But then here we've got trust what you know. So deep down you do, yeah, it just feels agonizing in the moment because you haven't got that clear green light, if that makes sense. You've just got to trust yourself. We have Ochidom, father's house, so the kind of familial home, the sense of heritage, the sense of belonging. This is the 4th house in astrology. This is where you come from, your roots. Going back to your roots, there could be some kind of situation with the family or with your very, very early past, like childhood, first love kind of thing, or with your hometown that gets thrown up in March and that brings up some uncomfortable feelings. And maybe your partner is not really sure why you feel that way and you've got to kind of explain it to them, but at the same time you feel bad that they're not supporting you in the way that you want them to, but you also feel unreasonable for expecting them to support you in the way that you need to be supported, if that makes sense. It's like you feel as though your expectations are a little off, or your needs are kind of reasonable but unreasonable, if that makes sense. We have sincere, intuitive, reserved, easygoing as the person who is coming towards you in love in March. Possible interests for this person include cultural arts, books, environmental law, musical instruments, spirituality, and socializing in small gatherings. So typically, the way that those cards work is that 1 or 2 of the adjectives and 1 or 2 of the possible interests really fit the person, and then the other ones maybe not so much. So just take what jumps out at you from that card. And going back to the Ochidom card, the father's house card, I think it's really important in this month to know what's in your 4th house in astrology. If there are any planets there, asteroids, etc. What sign the 4th house is in. How those things affect you. Because I think there's something being thrown up here in March that affects your love life. Your healing message in love in March is relieve anxiety, number 26. So any anxieties or worries that you have, just letting them sink away. And I feel like that's something that you do because there's this message of, I know it's all going to be okay. I'm choosing to deal with something in a very positive way. So I know it's all going to be okay and any problems are going to just melt away into the background. Don't lose your individuality. Don't change who you are to appease another. Materialis Flistiach, that's a very similar card, Lost in the Leaves. It's the 8 of Circles, or number 80, if that has any meaning for you. Lost in the Leaves. I sometimes get that card when we feel like we've been left behind in some way. So again, this could go back to the family or the hometown, when you reconnect with family, or when you go back to your hometown, you might see people from your past and you wonder how you fared over time compared to them, how you fared compared to family members. All of these comparisons can come up, etc. It also comes through obviously when you feel like you're losing your sense of self or your identity. Or when you've lost your focus or lost your way somehow. The need to get back on the path that's become covered with autumn leaves, so you can't quite see the direction you're going in. So then you've got 2 sweeties for love in March. You have candy sticks, support, allies, encouragement. So someone who is there to support you and give you the encouragement you need, whether it's a physical person or whether it's in spirit. And you have fruit slices, play, outdoors, summer. So we're not quite in summer yet, but there is this message of wanting to get outside and do things and have fun and sort of loosen up your energy, which is really nice. Perfect. Full moon in Cancer, your advice is let your fears dissolve. Absolutely perfect. That's lovely. Okay, and Cancer is the ruler of the 4th house as well, I should add. So that fits well with your messages in your reading. So let's move on to your charms and dice now, group 3, to get your extra messages. Start with your charms. Okay, so we've got the worry thread here. Worry or anxiety showing up. We've also got 2019. So something that happened in 2019 or someone you met in 2019 could be on your mind. It's also about education because that is the mortarboard on that charm. So take either of those messages. We've also got the letter X. Okay, so this really could suggest that you are fixating on an ex, or you have been reminded in some way of a past relationship, and that's causing you to feel hurt or restless or just a bit upset. We've got the pedestal charm, putting someone on a pedestal, and interestingly it's landed on Ochidom, father's house. So you might feel as though your family are idolizing maybe a sibling of yours or a cousin of yours, or you may feel as though you know, people in your hometown are sort of drawing attention to another person of your generation who's kind of done well for themselves, and you feel in comparison that you haven't, or that your life hasn't moved on in the way that theirs has. Maybe there is some kind of like big event happening in March, like the wedding of someone you went to school with, or your sibling having a baby, or something like that, and it just is sort of impacting upon you because it's making you feel compared to, or it's making you feel like you have to justify yourself in some way. It's making you reflect on your past a lot more. We've got the career and finance ball there, the jade ball. So career, finance, education are all playing into this as well. We've got the crocodile, a manipulative person. That's possibly going back to how you don't want to be manipulative. You don't want to be like these other people that you've encountered. And it's landing on success. So you will have success with navigating that situation correctly. We've got the birdcage, feeling restricted. And then we've got the starfish, which is about healing, and the little star giving you a little wink. I love this charm. It's telling you it's all going to be okay, you know, and it's safe to do whatever you're feeling called to do right now. Don't give yourself such a hard time. That's what that charm is saying. Things are going to work out all right. Things are going to be fine. Just you wait and see. So let's get your dice on top too, group 3. Okay, we're rolling the 10th set of dice for you. I don't think I've used these in a YouTube reading yet. I'm really excited to use them. They've been sitting around for a while. I think I've used them in one private reading so far. These are the Scooby-Doo dice. Really, really excited to use them. Let's see how many we roll for you today. 4. Okay, we're rolling 4 dice for you. I had these dice on my wish list for a little while, and then they disappeared. They had been sold out. I looked everywhere online for them. They were sold out everywhere. I was really panicking because I had wanted them for a while, but I hadn't put them on my wish list for like at least a year after I discovered them. And yeah, I looked everywhere for them. I couldn't find them, and I eventually found them online after, I think, checking lots of different sites at least once or twice a week to see if I could find them for like a few months. And eventually I found them become available on one site, and I just bought them instantly. I didn't even think twice about it, and now I've got them. So I'm pretty pleased about that. So group 3, love life in March. So here you have got the treasure chest, so that symbolizes abundance and also things which are hidden. And again, we've got the secret entrance. sort of secret entrance in a wall. So these are both kind of pointing towards things that you're keeping to yourself. And so with the heart-to-heart conversations card, I really feel like you're expressing your needs a lot more. In March, you're being a lot clearer about, for example, why you act or react in certain ways to things. Like your partner is becoming more aware of that, or you're becoming more aware of it as you go into the dating world, like what these things mean to you, how they trigger you and why, etc. You're a lot clearer on those things. So there's a little bit of like revealing secrets, if that makes sense, sort of showing a side to you that you don't usually show, and bearing all in that sense, which is really nice. We've also got Charlie the Funland robot. And so this, when I think of this, I think of two things. Firstly, I think of someone who can be manipulated, because Charlie is a robot who was made to sort of be a helper at Funland in Scooby-Doo, and then someone sabotaged him so that he would become destructive, so that he would kind of turn into a villain. So we've got the message inherent of the villain, but the person who can be nice and who can be a villain, and also the manipulation. So it's like, again, you see that that's not who you are, but you're terrified of becoming a manipulator, or becoming someone who is like similar to one of your exes maybe, or similar to someone in the past that you don't like. It's like you're saying to yourself, whoa, I shouldn't be doing this because X did this to me or whatever, but my motivations are different, etc. So there's a little bit of thought there of like two sides to one person. And also Charlie just makes me think of a helper, someone who's supportive. He was built to be a helper, and then he ended up being very kind and sweet once the sabotage was put to an end. So someone who's a helper, someone who supports you, who listens to you, and we have got that through the candy sticks card. As I said, whether that's spirit or whether that is your partner or another person in your life, there is that supportive person. And actually sometimes I've heard the Knight of Pentacles being referred to as a guardian angel, whether spiritually or in like a physical incarnation, someone who looks out for you. So that is something to bear in mind. And then we've got the haunted house, the sort of old mansion. And I do have a haunted house charm as well, and it makes me think of being plagued by the past. So whether it's, you know, seeing a person, bumping into them, or seeing them on social media and being reminded of stuff from the past, whether it's a particular period of your life that you can't seem to get out of your mind, whether it's slipping into old behavioral patterns that you don't want to partake in anymore. It points out to me things that just seem to be stuck in your mind and you're struggling to get rid of them, and they really belong in your past. They belong sort of buried and left to rest, but they keep coming up and walking about and trying to derail you in some way. So that's something to be aware of, and something to sort of work on putting to rest a little bit in March. So that's your main reading so far. There's a lot of realization and a lot of controlled, gentle action for you in your love life with a happy outcome. So now you can go and choose your gnome. If you haven't already, just go to the start of your reading, not the start of your reading, sorry, the start of the video, and choose a gnome. If you have chosen your gnome and you remember which one you chose, then just jump to the timestamps and pick that gnome and get your extra messages. And if you chose Gismund or Gnome A, then you can stick around because I will be doing him next. Hey there, Gismund's group. Welcome to your reading, your extra reading if you chose Gismund or Gnome A as your gnome. We're going to see what messages Gismund has for you about your love life in March. So this will get you a few extra cards, and it'll also be your channeled messages as well to make the reading a bit more layered and feel a bit more personalized for you. So I'm just going to open up to channeled messages now. And while I do that, I will be shuffling the cards in the background. That helps me to focus in my mind on what's coming through. So, Gismund's group, I'm seeing like, how can I explain this? It's like I'm seeing someone opening the curtains and it's sort of dark outside, and then just gradually waiting for the dawn to come. So it feels like you're in a bit of a dark place. With regards to love, you're a little bit pessimistic maybe. And I don't feel this completely goes away in March, but I think it's a gradual sense of improvement that by the end of March you feel better about the situation than you did when you went into March. It's possible as well that, for example, this is nothing to do with love specifically, but there are other things going on in your life, and it means that you don't have time for love, or that it's stopping you from pursuing love possibly, or from showing the attention you need within your relationship. I'm also seeing like a red kind of chaise-longue kind of chair, like a sort of luxury velvety red chaise-longue. So there's something luxurious about March in love. This could be related to like a trip away or gift giving, could be a birthday or an anniversary coming up or something, or just being treated by someone, or even treating yourself. But I'm seeing something to do with luxury. I'm also now seeing a cherry on a cake. So again, that sort of says to me luxury, treating yourself. The red seems to be quite a strong theme, this quite deep red. Obviously that has connections to the root chakra and survival, as well as things like passion and vitality. And I'm also seeing this deep blue, and again it's sort of showing me like clouds over the sea in relation to that blue. So there is this sadness that for some reason is coming through. Yeah, I'm hearing keep your chin up, like you're trying to just get through the issues that you're having, trying not to let it cloud your love life, or have a negative impact upon your daily feelings, but that's definitely there. And I'm also hearing names beginning with G, like Georgia, George, Gerald. It sounds like a soft G to me, not like a G like Gismund, but like a J sound. But it's showing me the letter G, so it's not like Jack, it's like George, if that makes sense. And the number 8 is also coming through, so balance, equilibrium, infinity. Possibly look out for the 8th, 18th or 28th of March as important dates. Let's get your cards. I'm now also seeing the moon and hearing moon day, so Mondays are important as well. The day of the moon. Again, I'm seeing like a birth chart, and I'm being shown the moon in the 9th house, which is the sort of usually quite high up in your chart, like kind of at the top. So that means something for someone, moon in the 9th house. Ascended Master Serapis Bey and Paul the Venetian, 2 Ascended Masters, are also coming through for you in these channeled visions now, so you can connect with them during March, either to help you overcome these difficulties or to teach you something. So the cards that we've got from the Gnome Tarot are the Dvojka Monет, the 2 of Pentacles, and it says Объединение, which means unity. We've also got Четверка Чаш, the 4 of Cups, which says Tradiция, tradition. And then Djavol, the devil. So there's definitely this connection to what I was mentioning about the feeling sad, or the sort of dark days, or the clouds over the sea. Like the 2 of Pentacles, I sometimes describe it as trying to keep your head above water, like trying to maintain a sense of balance in life. So that's again where the 8 comes in, that sense of balance. The 4 of Cups is dissatisfaction, and Tradiция often shows that you in this particular deck, you want to make a change from what has always been the case. So you want to move on from other people's expectations of you, or your long-standing behaviors. You want to change them. The devil obviously is Capricorn's energy and is kind of coming through to remind you of behavioral patterns or situations that are not healthy for you. You also have Liebe ist wie das Wasser, sie findet immer ihren Weg. Love is like water, it always finds a way, or it always finds its way, its path. There's that water imagery coming in again, and the deep blue that I was getting in your channeled messages. So the Earth Elemental is really paying attention to that. Then we've got the Spell Singer, cast spells of wonder and delight. So there is something you can do Yeah, Gismund's group, you do have a lot of power in terms of how you choose to deal with the situation. I do strongly get this feeling that this is something that doesn't start in March. It's something that's been hanging over you for a little while and creeping up on you. But as we go into March, I think you'll find that your mood gradually increases and improves. And that by the end of the March you feel better about the situation, even if those concerns or those feelings haven't completely gone away. There is a noticeable shift into a more positive outlook. Definitely there's something to do here with long-standing situations or long-standing behaviors or expectations or thought patterns that are kind of knocking you out of balance. And there is like a message here to say love will find its way to you, but that you kind of don't feel ready to accept that in March. There's something within you that you need to find peace with in order for you to feel fully open and ready to accept love coming in. So that is what I'm seeing from your channeled messages, Gismund's group. I really hope you've enjoyed both of the readings that I've done for you today. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of the reading, if you enjoyed it, if it resonated with you. Please also like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. That really helps out my channel and it means that we can get these messages to as many people as possible. And if you're interested in the work that I do, check out my description box or the comment that I post in the comment section below. They are always full of links. So from there you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram for daily oracle cards. You can book a private reading or healing session with me on my Etsy page. You can head over to Patreon. As I said, I will be making changes to Patreon in the next few days. So definitely consider becoming a patron if you're interested in getting more rewards, getting exclusive content, and also learning astrology if that interests you as well. Definitely check that out. If you would like to send a gift or donation to the channel, that is very kind of you. I have 2 wish lists linked below for new tarot and oracle decks for those who would like to send a gift to the channel. I also have a PayPal link for tips and donations for those of you who would like to support me in the work that I do to help me keep making these videos. Thank you so much to everyone who has considered doing that or who has considered becoming a patron. And we do still have a discount running with Modern Day Manifestations, so if you'd like to get 10% off your first order of beautiful handmade jewelry, head over to their website. The link is below. Use that link because it will validate the discount code, and then apply the discount code Violet at checkout to get your 10% off that beautiful crystal jewelry. And thank you so much for being here, Gismund's group. Have a lovely rest of your day and a wonderful March. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hey there, Gunvald's group. Welcome to your extra reading if you chose Gunvald or Gnome B as your gnome. We're going to take a look at the cards and see what other messages Gunvald has for you about your love life in March. So I will be getting you some extra cards. I'll also be getting you some channeled messages, all from Gunvald and the other earth elementals. And I'm going to start with the channeled messages. This is going to make it like a layered reading, like a bit more personalized for you. And while I open up now to the channeled messages, I will be shuffling the tarot cards because that helps me to focus in my mind on the messages coming in. So immediately I'm seeing a cave and I'm getting like hermit vibes, Gunvald's group. I'm also then seeing what I thought was the sun at the mouth of the cave, but it's actually like a campfire. So there's definitely quite a cozy energy. I'm wondering if you've become very entrenched in your comfort zone and the thought of maybe moving someone in, or maybe going out into the dating world again, or moving into the next level of commitment in your relationship is a little bit frightening. I kind of get that you're doing a lot of soul searching. Like I just heard soul searching and I just saw a little ghost, which is my symbol of like doing a lot of thinking about the past. So you could be thinking about exes, you could just be thinking about, you know, your dreams and goals from the past and wondering how that aligns with your current life. You could just be doing a lot of, you know, reminiscing, nostalgia kind of thing. But there's a lot of like past focused thinking is what I'm seeing. And just this sense of like, I need this space to think. I'm really doing a lot of thinking by myself. I'm also seeing a ship, so potential for travel is on the horizon. Whether that means traveling in March or just making travel plans in March for a different date. And the number 4 is coming in, which is a very stable number. So obviously it's the Emperor in tarot, but the number 4 is about foundations. And the number 4 comes through when we don't really want to shift from where we are. So whereas like the 3 is about creativity, and the 5, for example, is also about some kind of expansion, even if we hit blockages and hurdles along the way, the 4 kind of gives us this sense of, I'm happy with where I am now and I don't really want to budge from here. So there's definitely a stubbornness coming in a sense of like, I don't really want to move from where I am. I'm also seeing grey, which is a color I associate a lot with Capricorn, but also a lot with sort of just thinking. I don't know why, but I associate grey with thinking and thought, and a little bit with communication. So the color grey, like a steely grey, is coming in. And yellow, so there is definitely an optimism there as well. I'll get you some cards. Yeah, I just heard the grass is always greener, so that might be where the looking back at the past dreams and goals and things, and being maybe afraid to make change is coming in, because it's like you don't want to make the wrong choice, because you find often in your life that whatever choice you make, you often end up wishing you'd made a different one, or wondering what would happen if you'd have chosen differently. So there's a little bit of a fear of missing out, grass is always greener vibe going on in March. So we've got Восьмерка мечей, the 8 of Swords, which says praktika, practice. We also have Туз чаш, the Ace of Cups, удовольствие, sort of satisfaction or enjoyment. And then Королева чаш, the Queen of Cups, беременность, pregnancy. And I just actually heard gestation. So that's sort of gestation period where you're mulling things over, where you're growing in that safe space. That could be what the cave is referring to, but of course you might be pregnant or trying to get pregnant, in which case I think the cave is quite a good omen, because symbolically it is like a womb. We've got Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces coming through with the Queen of Cups. And just again, like even with the image on the Ace of Cups here, it's that sense of being nestled in your comfort zone. That gnome has gotten quite comfortable in the cup. He doesn't really want to get out. And the 8 of Swords is about restriction and limitation. And I think with the practice message on that card, it's almost like saying you are thinking of all the different options you have and kind of envisaging how they could all play out in your mind. Like practicing living that life mentally, if that makes sense. So then Gunvald's group, you have got Ohne Neugier erfährst du nichts. I think that really makes a lot of sense in your reading. Without curiosity, you experience nothing. So if you don't have the curiosity and then the drive to sort of push through it, you might have the curiosity mentally and be thinking, but no, I still want to stay in this comfort zone, this cave, this womb, this cup. If you don't have the curiosity and the drive to follow it through, you will never experience anything. And all of these things that you are thinking about, these goals, these ideas, these plans, will just remain in your head as things you've practiced in your head but never done in real life. So there's definitely seems to be like a message of be a bit bolder or be brave in March. Give something a try. We have the Thimble Witch. There is magic in beginnings, so start something new. That makes an awful lot of sense. And the Spirit Familiar. Seek loving connections and cherish friendship. So I think that's a really cute message of you don't need to be afraid of the changes you're making or the desire to bring new energies into your life. Gunvald is saying go for it. You can do it. It's going to bring a lot of joy or a lot of benefit to your life. And there's just this message of pushing out of your comfort zone and not being afraid to do that. So that is what I'm seeing in your second reading, Gunvald's group. I hope you've enjoyed both of the readings I've done for you today. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of this reading. I would love to hear from you. Please do like, share and subscribe as well if you enjoyed the video, because it really helps out my channel, and it means that we can get these messages to as many people as possible. And if you're interested in the work that I do here and you would like to get more involved, do check out my description box and the comment that I post in the comments section below, because they're always full of links. So from there you can head over to my Instagram page and follow me over there, where you'll get daily oracle cards in your feed. You can book a private reading or healing session with me on Etsy. You can head over to my Patreon page, especially with the new changes that I've mentioned are coming into Patreon soon. If you're interested in learning about astrology, that will be coming in around the start of March, and obviously you get access to exclusive content and all other kinds of goodies over there. So if you're a fan of the channel, definitely consider becoming a patron. If you would like to send a gift or donation to the channel, then that is very, very kind of you. Thank you so much for that. I have 2 wish lists linked below for new tarot and oracle decks for people who are feeling very generous and would like to send in a gift. And I also have my PayPal link below for anyone who'd like to leave a tip or donation for the work that I do. Any amount is very much gratefully appreciated, and it goes towards helping me continue to make these videos. And we do still have a discount running with Modern Day Manifestations, so if you're interested in getting 10% off your first order of beautiful handmade crystal jewelry, then just use the link below. That will activate and validate the discount code. Then just apply the discount code VIOLET at checkout and you will get that 10% off. So thank you so much for being here, Gunvald's group. Have a lovely rest of your day and a wonderful March. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hey there, Gaia's group. Welcome to your extra reading if you chose Geir or Gnome C as your gnome. Then this is going to be your extra reading. It's going to give you some channeled messages as well as some extra cards, and what it does is it just layers the reading and it makes it seem more personalized for you. So I'm going to open up to channeled messages now, and while I do that I'm going to be shuffling the cards just because it helps me to focus in on the messages I'm receiving. So Gaia's group, what's coming through for you? I'm actually seeing a jungle, like a sort of tropical jungle, like even with a snake sort of hanging down from one of the branches of the trees and vines and things. There's for me, the jungle would have this sense of confusion to it, or maybe even a feeling of being a bit lost, not really sure which path to take or which steps are the correct ones. So there's definitely a message here about confusion or not really knowing what decision to make moving forward, or even where you are, or if the place that you're in currently with regards to love is the place that you're supposed to be in. So there's definitely some difficulty there. I'm seeing the color brown as well, which is obviously a very grounding color, so there's that need to stay grounded. But also brown can come in a sort of negative sense as well. It can come in a positive sense of like a grounding color and a safe, calming color. It's a very safe color, but sometimes it comes in to show us that something is wrong. So for example, something like the root chakra being red can easily turn to brown, or like a sort of dirty browny red when it's not vibrant enough. So sometimes when I do healing sessions for people, their root chakra can be brown or a dirty brown red instead of red, and that kind of shows that they're depleted in that area. So that could be a message for you there, and just this need to ground yourself and feel more stable and secure in your daily life, because then that will also help you get a sense of where you are, and a sense of better stability and understanding of where you're going. Okay, I'm seeing the number 5, which is not surprising to me. The number 5 obviously in tarot comes up when we experience obstacles or hurdles. So that seems to make sense of your situation. And also if we think of 5 options, like that's lots of different options, lots of different directions in which to go. Color pink is also coming up now as well, the light pink, which for me is symbolic of self-love. It's a very gentle, unconditionally loving and accepting color. So that's a message coming in as well. And I'm seeing Italy. Like I'm seeing some cloisters in what I believe is some kind of Italian abbey, or maybe even like a courtyard of another building. But I'm seeing cloisters, and I'm hearing Italy specifically. Like it's not about the cloisters, it's about Italy. So that's a message for someone. I'm not really sure what to make of that, but that's coming through quite clearly. Maybe there's some travel to Italy, or maybe you have Italian relatives, so you speak Italian, or someone you know does. and that's connected in some way to your love life. Let's get you some cards. I just heard don't hold back as well. So that could be don't hold back from action, or maybe like you want to say something and you're being told go ahead, don't hold back because you'll regret it if you do. So I'm seeing Straszny Sud, judgment. Then we also have Rycerz, the Knight of Cups, and it says Obelszenie, seduction. And then here we've got Wieselnik, the Hanged Man. So 2 major arcana cards flanking the Knight of Cups. Okay, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces showing up here. So it's obviously an important crossroads moment. Both of these cards symbolize crossroads. And the Hanged Man does suggest that you are holding yourself back for some reason. Like there's someone you have your eye on, or someone who's been flirting with you, or someone that you're even maybe in a dating relationship with, or a relationship, but you're holding yourself back from telling the person, from flirting with the person, from being serious about the relationship, from moving forward with commitment. It feels like you're at this crossroads moment. So you're definitely being told don't hold back. This all makes sense with the jungle energy as well, doesn't it? I'm also seeing someone putting on red lipstick. So that could be something that's important, something you do to make you feel more confident, or something that's connected to the seduction message maybe. Here we've got Wirf unnötigen Ballast über Bord. Hochfliegen kannst du nur mit leichtem Gepäck, which I think is a cute message. It says throw unnecessary ballast overboard. You can only fly high when you have light baggage. So sort of when you relieve yourself of heavy baggage. I love this card because I love the hot air balloon. For me, hot air balloons are a really important symbol. Balloons in general, but especially hot air balloons, they just make me feel so happy when I see them. I have no reason to feel that way. There's no like event that's happened in my life with a hot air balloon or anything to like attach it to, like a cartoon character when I was younger or anything. It's just, I don't know where it comes from, but I just feel joy when I see them, and it has this sense of freedom for me and this just real life affirming message. So it's always a special message for me when I see that image. So it's definitely a very empowering message coming through for you guys, group. And then we've got this card, keep going, trust in yourself, you have all you need. So there's definitely a message of confidence, and that's why you're being told don't hold back, because you are consciously either censoring yourself or holding yourself back or stopping yourself from making certain choices because you don't trust yourself to make the right decision. And actually what you're being told from the earth elementals is you can. You will make the right decision. You need to trust in yourself more. And there is this message of getting rid of something that doesn't serve you. So maybe you're thinking, oh, I should go with this person because they clearly care about me, but I'm not really feeling it myself. And you're thinking maybe that's the wrong choice, or maybe that's me being unkind, etc. But, you know, you're being told whatever this baggage is, whatever it is that feels like it's weighing you down, even if you can't articulate why, that's something that you need to get rid of in your life. And even if it's just getting something off your chest, like saying something and not holding back in that sense, that's really, really important. So that is what I'm seeing in your extra reading, Gaia's group. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed both of the readings that I've done for you today. Please let me know in the comments if you did, whether it resonated with you. I would love to hear from you. Please also like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. That really helps out my channel, and it means that we can get these messages to as many people as possible. If you're interested in the work that I do and you'd like to get more involved, check out my description box or the comment that I post in the comments section below. They are always full of links. So you can follow me on Instagram from there and get daily oracle cards in your feed. You can book a private reading or healing session with me on Etsy. You can head over to my Patreon page and consider becoming a patron. As I said earlier, around the start of March, there will be new features on Patreon. The pricing will be updated and there'll be new features, including an astrology tier for people who wish to learn astrology or expand their knowledge of it. So definitely head over there if you're interested in that, or if you're interested in getting access to exclusive content and other goodies and giveaways that I do over there. If you are feeling very generous and you'd like to send a gift to the channel, thank you so much. I have 2 wish lists linked below for new tarot and oracle decks if you would like to send in a physical gift to the channel, and I also have my PayPal link for tips and donations if you'd like to send something that supports the work that I do and helps me to keep making these videos. So thank you to everyone who's considered doing that. Thank you to everyone who's considered becoming a patron, and we do still have a discount running with Modern Day Manifestations. If you'd like to get 10% off your first order of beautiful handmade crystal jewelry, use the link below to validate the discount code, and then apply the discount code VIOLET at checkout and you will get 10% off your first order. So thank you so much for being here. Guys group, have a lovely rest of your day and a wonderful March. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hey there Gjord's group, welcome to your reading. If you chose Gjord or Gnome D as your gnome, we're going to get your extra messages here. So that will include your channeled messages and also a few extra cards. So I'm just going to open up to your channel messages now, and while I do that I'm going to be shuffling the cards because it helps me to focus in on the messages coming in from the earth elementals. So. Okay, Gjord's group, I'm actually seeing an igloo. Kind of suggests to me, in a sense, wanting to defend yourself or wanting to hide away. It also suggests a sort of harsh environment being around you. And I did just hear toxic energy. So there is, maybe you're living with people who are kind of difficult, or maybe you're being drained by work colleagues, or your friends are unsupportive or something. But there is some kind of toxic environment around you that you are trying to shield yourself from, or that you're being advised to shield yourself from. I'm getting a light blue color coming in, which to me is symbolic of kind of peace and positivity, and also of the mind. Athena, Lady Athena, is now showing up with an owl on her shoulder. So there is something here to do with wisdom and strategy. And so that word defense kind of comes in again, defending yourself, using your wits, using strategy. So Lady Athena, the goddess of war and wisdom, also known as Minerva, she is coming up for you. She's also showing me she's making the sign of the number 3. So 3 symbolizes creativity and expansion. So it's kind of like, I'm hearing like defend your position and then you can advance, like defend where you are now, get to like a stable grounding or firm foundation, and then you can push ahead and you can experience some progress or some growth in March. It just feels like at the moment you're kind of being attacked by people, or you're having people just not support you in the way that you want them to. And that's giving you that sense of insecurity. I'm also hearing truths are going to be revealed for you in March. So there is going to be some revelation or some kind of understanding of a situation that's going to leave you with the answers you need. And then I'm seeing a really pale green coming in, like really, really pale. Yeah, to me that's like the beginning of strength, the beginning of better health. So that could be your end of March energy. So we've got Tuzmiche, the Ace of Swords, and it says Sila, strength. So that fits in with Athene showing up and the messages about your wit and wisdom. Karol Bulav, the King of Wands, and it says Vlast, power. So strength and power. And then Devyatka Manet, the 9 of Pentacles, Skupust, miserliness. Okay, so the miserliness to me fits with like protecting what you have. That message we got about sort of defending yourself, protecting your energy. The Nine of Pentacles obviously traditionally means looking after yourself and giving yourself some luxurious quiet time, but I think in this sense it's more about hunkering down and protecting those basic needs and stepping back from people that are draining you or situations that are causing you to give more than you have in terms of time, energy, effort levels, emotional or mental contribution. Like it feels like there's something where you're giving more than you have, or you're having things taken from you by people being nasty, or people forcing you to defend yourself. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius coming through with the King of Wands, that sense of having a vision and being able to expand, a new beginning, as we mentioned. Communication strategy. Then we have Tu es wie die Blume, die nach oben blickt, nicht ihren Schatten, sondern das Licht zu sehen, which says, do or be like the flower which looks upwards so as not to see its shadow, but instead to look at the light. So this little earth elemental is telling you to not focus on the negatives or the worries or the difficulties in your situation, and instead to focus on the things you're grateful for or the things that you can be optimistic about moving forward. I think that's where that light blue energy was coming in, not just your communication and your wit, but also the sense of optimism, if we think of blue sky feelings. And then the very pale green that I saw, that beginning of strength, that beginning of better health. And when I talk about health, I don't just mean physical health, I mean mental health, emotional health as well. So then we have the Gnome of Mushrooms and Buttons. Seek silliness and joy, they are wise teachers. So that message of wisdom again. Okay, so laughter and silly things and sort of childish things, maybe even things you enjoyed in childhood, like certain films or cartoons or activities, songs, etc. Just reconnecting with those and really nourishing your inner child in that sense can give you this great feeling of strength and improved health and vitality. Games and things that you enjoyed in childhood, or things that maybe like you really wanted in childhood, that could fit in with the Nine of Pentacles. Things that you wanted in childhood but weren't allowed to have, whether it was a trip to a certain place, a certain type of toy, seeing a certain film, even like, I don't know, maybe like a possession or something that you really wanted to have in the house but you weren't allowed, or you couldn't afford to have it when you were a child, and now you can treat yourself to that and sort of feed your inner child that way, nourish your inner child. That definitely seems to be a message and a focus for you in March. So that is what I am seeing in your second reading. Gjord's group, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed both readings I've done for you today. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of the readings, whether they resonated with you. I would love to hear from you. Please also like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. That means that we can get these messages to as many people as possible, and it really helps out my channel as well. And if you're interested in the work that I do here and you would like to get more involved, do check out my description box or the comment that I post in the comments section. They're always full of links, so you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram. From there, to get daily oracle cards in your feed, you can book a private reading or healing session with me on Etsy. You can head over to Patreon and consider becoming a patron. Over there, as I said, at the start of March or the end of February, I will be shaking things up and I will be updating the pricing and also bringing in some new rewards, including an astrology tier for those of you who are interested in learning astrology. And obviously there's always the usual exclusive content and goodies and giveaways and things that I do over there. So definitely head over there if you're interested. I would love to see you there. If you would like to donate to the channel or support me in the work that I do, that is very, very kind of you. I have 2 wish lists linked below for new tarot and oracle decks if you'd like to send a physical gift to the channel. I also have a PayPal link for anyone who would like to send a tip or a small donation to help me in continuing the work that I do. Everything is very gratefully appreciated, and thank you to everyone who's considered doing that or who has considered becoming a patron. And we do still have a discount running with Modern Day Manifestations, so if you'd like to get 10% off your first order of beautiful handmade crystal jewelry, then use the link below. That link will validate the discount code, so make sure you click on that one and then use the discount code Violet at checkout and you will get your 10% off. So thank you to them for continuing to offer us that exclusive discount. Have a lovely rest of your day. Gjord's group, thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful March, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.